I'm here with Abdullah, Zayan and the lads. Manchester United 3, Spurs 2. What did you make of that today?
Mate, like, it felt like I was sat next to you today and it felt like it was going to be another one of them games, innit? Like 2-2. You kept telling me you ain't winning this. And I just kept jinxing it the whole game, innit?
Me and Abdullah looked at each other at 2-2 and went, I think we should get Ronaldo off for Cavani.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought, you know what? I was worried, man, because I didn't know how he was going to play it. And when he went overkill with like Cavani, Ronaldo, I was like, yeah, this could go one way or the other, innit? Because Pogba and Fred in that midfield. Then Pogba didn't have a good second half. I thought he was all right first half. Then he takes a big risk by trying to beat his man. Then that ball over to Sancho. And then the corner, like, what a header for that. And talk about the start of the game, like, this is why, like, but when it's all said and done, he's the GOAT, man. Like, how many moments does he have like this? He writes football, he writes it himself. Like 2016-17, Madrid. Before that, he was entertaining, done at United, won the Ballon d'Or here. I don't want to hear any chat, man. He scored more goals today than Messi's got all season in the league. So don't chat.
And he's got another record today, hasn't he? Is it the FIFA record or something for goals?
He just keeps smashing records, innit? Like I said, when it's all said and done, he's the guy, innit? Like. And again, the weird patch, the bad patch he's had here, it doesn't mean anything. He's 37, and he's today. Mate,
does that show you though how much he's benefited from a rest?
Yeah, it does, you know, because I felt Zidane managed his minutes really well at Madrid. He brought him in and out of the team just before those Champions League runs, and he's seen how much it benefited him. And he's going to be hungry now for the next game. He brought him straight off after he bagged the winner basically today as well, to just give him a bit of a rest. And if he just, you know, if you could just keep servicing him, because we've lacked that sort of composed play in general. Like we were saying to each other up there, and I kept saying to you, like, I'm seeing patterns that don't occur a lot when Wan-Bissaka, when McTominay are there. And not to say that I completely, you know, not to say that I completely hate these players and think they shouldn't be in and around the squad, but there's a level of having a starting player, and Matic proved that in midfield today. When you got a composed figure, when you got someone who's going to bring the ball down, play between the lines, and you start seeing it fade a bit because with his legs. And then obviously Ralph made the right decision to go with a bit of a risk. And
is that not a worry though? Because you'd like Matic to be fresh for the game against Atletico. We've got no McTominay potentially for that game. What's the midfield going to look like in there?
I'd hope what Ralph said midweek in regards to McTominay having a calf problem and he doesn't want to risk him. And I think when I was away at that Atletico game, I really noticed that midfield was lacking. You know, as bad as McTominay can be, I felt like that midfield can be lacking in that game. Like there was no energy, and he would have made a difference, I feel like, in that Atletico away game. But Matic, when fit, when his legs are going and he's all good, like there's no one better in the side to play that role. And I think the best way you could do that is just play McTominay in these like sideman games where you just like whatever you can get by, you can play him in there against your lower teams in the league, and then keep Matic for the big games, because today he was a huge team player. And I think because Fred for me,
how good was
Ronaldo scored a hat-trick, but man of the match shouts for Fred, because today he ran the show. And I think, again, I'll repeat, and I said this on the channel before, Fred's best position is higher up. When he's got to turn the ball over, I know he did some stuff in our own half, but when he's got to press from the front, when he's got to win the ball there, nip past the player, that's the best version of Fred when he's playing in a higher rate, because then you can actually play a Bruno or a Paul Pogba alongside him, because you know he's going to do the hard yards, you know he's going to let the other players in the team do their thing in it. And I think Fred did that today, and fair play to him. And for me, as a midfield, what we've seen today, Matic and Fred, if they can continue that onto the next few weeks. Spurs isn't an easy game, man. They gave trouble to Liverpool in their home game. I thought they should have won that game as well. They turned City over in the last few minutes at the Etihad. They're not an easy team at all, and that was a big result. And we spoke about Conte's record when his teams have got rest. They hadn't lost a game when they got rest midweek so far, and we've done it today against them and a difficult side. And you know what, that's where you turn to Ronaldo and you think, we've created a lot of chances in recent week and we've not put them away. Today we didn't have like insane amounts of big chances, but he was clinical, and eventually it drops, man. Eventually he starts scoring as long as the football's right. And I'm happy Ralph went back to that 4-3-3. Happy Diogo Dalot played, because there's one thing that Dalot does so well, and that's when he's coming to midfield. I know he gave the ball away for that last moment, which was frustrating, but Dalot, when he's coming into that midfield and winning the ball and recycling it, it makes a huge difference, because everyone eventually plays higher up. Wan-Bissaka, we play too deep with him, man. Like, he waits for everything to come towards him, then he's making
almost like a third centre-back, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly, and it makes them last-ditch tackles, but you need to be winning the ball higher up the pitch, and that's what Diogo did today, and overall I'm happy. Like, a lot of good performances, and Atletico Madrid now, they're coming in with some big form. This is where United need to step up, and hopefully Marcus gets a goal in that game, man, because we need him to kick some form, because that can be a frightening front three if Marcus gets some form, and you got Alanga as well still having an influence on the team.
One last question before you go. Top 4, how are you feeling about that?
It's a difficult one. It's all about Arsenal this week, man. Like, they got two games. They got Leicester, I think, then they got Liverpool. I think if Arsenal get 4 points from those, I think it's done. I think Arsenal get top 4 regardless of what happens towards the end. We sort of shot ourselves in the foot with the Burnley games and Watford. And, we've been hard done by in a couple of, like Burnley with the ref and stuff like that. But you just got to go on and just see what happens with Arsenal this week. But if they pick up 4 points, I think it's said and done. But if they don't, 3 points, or if they lose them 2 games, we're back in there, to be honest.
For sure. Cheers, bro. Nice one. Zayan, what did you make of that today, brother?
I think it was a good performance, a good bounce back from City, especially first 20 minutes we were up for the fight, and I think we had more of an identity today. We weren't sort of, in the City game, we were sort of sitting back, half pressing, doing a mix, but I think today we pressed as a team. We weren't pressing as one. It wasn't just Bruno pressing or one player pressing and the rest of them sitting back. We were all pressing, and then we were...
Why do you think that was? Was it because of a personnel, because of the formation? What do you think it was?
I just think it's a sort of a sense of it just has to click eventually, but I think we were fired up for the game because we were more direct today. I think against City we were sort of trying to dawdle on the ball, and especially against games like Watford we were sort of taking our time, but we were sort of going at them, and I think that's the best thing to do against for our team, because we've got so many top players with pace that can hurt teams, and if we're just trying to play the safe option, sort of pass it around the whole team, I think it's going to be more difficult to break these sort of teams down, because we're better at counter-attacking, playing direct 1, 2, 3 passes to get into the final third.
For sure. Were you concerned when we were sitting off them a little bit after we took the lead at 1-0 and 2-1?
I think after 2-1, I think we were sort of dominating the game, but they still had chances. And I think we should sort of, in these sort of situations, we should be sort of cruising the game, sort of letting run out of time. But I think it's just showing our defensive frailties almost. We were solid in some parts, but then the stages in the game where we're not dominating, that's the difference between us, City and Liverpool, that they'll dominate a game for 90 minutes, or when it's difficult, they'll ride the storm out. We'll have patches of 20 minutes where we're all over them, and then they'll have 10 minutes where they might grab a goal.
What did you make of Maguire's performance today? Because I thought it was a little bit unfortunate to score that own goal, although I never had a great view of it from where I sit. But then there's a few people that think Lindelof should come in. I'm kind of one of those, despite his good performance today. But I thought it was good. What did you make of it?
I think Maguire's not really suited to the way that we play. We're sort of playing that sort of high press and full-backs bombing on, and that's leaving Varane and Maguire in a sort of 2v2 or 1v1 situation, and I don't think that's what Maguire wants. Maguire wants us sitting back, sort of waiting and playing on the counter. That's why I think he did well in earlier season under Ole, when we were sort of sitting back and soaking up the pressure, because the ball was in front of him and he didn't have players running in behind.
Did you expect to see this from Cristiano Ronaldo today?
Yeah, I think that after he got rested from the City game, after that goal that he scored, you sort of thought that this is going to be his day. I think he was everywhere almost today. He was creating chances, being a sort of a leader today, and that's what we need. Players like that in big games like these, which is going to get us to the top 4 if we're going to stand a chance.
Do you think we stand a chance?
I think it depends on Arsenal especially. I think they got Leicester, Liverpool, and I think we just got to keep winning our games. Because if we win all of our games from here, we can't really blame ourselves. And if we're relying on other results, if we're level on points, we need Arsenal to lose. I think that's not the way that we need to think. I think we need to think sort of winning the next game and winning the game after that.
For sure. Cheers, brother. Nice one. Brother, what did you make of that today?
I wouldn't get too carried away, because what Ronaldo's done again, he's just papered over the cracks. He did that against Villarreal, he did that against Atlanta, he's done it in the Premier League many times. He just scored 3 goals because of his insane abilities. Well, our defence was left split open many times, and if it was, I kept wondering, I was sitting in the northwest stand and it was Højbjerg, he was spreading the ball quite well, but Son and Kane, they had many opportunities to being slotted behind. If that was De Bruyne instead of Højbjerg, we would have been punished. And with a shaky defence like that, forget about winning the league. You can't even enter the top 4 with a shaky defence like that. You need to strengthen ourselves in the back a lot. And as far as for the middle of the park, again, Fred played really well today, but I think the most underrated player these days is Matic. You can't, he's over 30 years old, and the level of performances that he puts in, he's like the engine in the middle of the park, and he was running the show today in terms of his interceptions and stopping Tottenham from getting on the front foot again and again. Yeah,
for sure. So would you change this defence or this team against Atletico Madrid?
I did wonder about Bruno, because we know all about his qualities and everything, but the way we were playing today, because Atletico Madrid are a high pressing team as well, and I mean, Champions League are high stakes games anyway, so Champions League games are high stakes games, so I wouldn't change it now. I think I'm fine with the way we played today. Yeah.
Okay. Top 4, how are you feeling about that? Obviously, you think Ronaldo's goal has kind of papered over the cracks a little bit today, but could that win give us a bit of momentum?
Of course, it's all about momentum. As I said the last time I was here, we can do our part, but the way we have, the kind of performances we've turned in at the starting of the season and the middle of the season, we've lost so many games or squandered away so many opportunities against middle of the table or bottom of the table teams. I actually would also like to say it's Tottenham and they're ambitious, so that's why we can attack. But when it's a team who sits in and they park the bus, we can't ever seem to break them down, which we saw what happened against Watford. We were creating attack after attack against Tottenham, and against Watford it was frustration, wasn't it? So that's something else as well. Yeah, but top 4, I think it's about Arsenal. They've got games in hand, and the way they're playing, I want Man United to be in the top 4, but I think it'll go down to the wire. Yeah.